right, all the way over from South Africa. We certainly haven't turned on very good weather for you. How are you finding things out there?
Well, we're going real well in the dry, and once it started raining, I just eased off quite a lot, and I was just pacing myself with Roger Hayes, and we're keeping him -4, -5 the whole way, and eventually Roger fell off on top of the hill. It was very slippery out there, you know, and it's dried up quite nicely now.
Right now, the track's dried out again now. You brought the bike in. We noticed Neville's got the team to change the rear tyre. What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, we were going to change the tyre at this pit stop anyway, and the tyre were real good until it started raining, and I just took it easy, you know. A few guys fell down, and you know, I think we can get going again now that it's dried out.
So you've mainly changed it as a precaution in case it does rain again. You'll have a fresher tyre, which will work that much better.
Correct.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And you see there how Neville Hiscock, now really fired up on bike number 1, overtook the Wayne Gardner, Wayne Clark Honda number 2 in his opening lap out on the track. So that the race leader at this stage is John Pace, Pete Byers, the Honda number 5, from Johnson and Pretty on Honda number 3, and Hiscock Gray dropping only to 3rd on number 1. Behind them, Gardner and Clark, number 2. Boy, he's really aggressive with the bike too. Race leader, 165 laps completed, 2 and 3/4 hours of riding. John Pace, Honda number 5. Little John Pace had a brilliant wet weather clash with Wayne Gardner a couple of years ago, and then we saw a very nasty accident here at Amaroo up in the Dunlop Loop on a Grand Prix bike in a telecast meeting. And round the back of the circuit, it was about there, I think a few metres before this point, the track was wet there and dry elsewhere, and John just got into the most horrific slide, was thrown off, and his leg badly broken. But he's recovered beautifully from that, showing a lot of aggression and planned pace, and really has run that bike nice and steadily, and now leads from 3, Johnson Pretty on their Honda, 2, Gardner and Clark, another Honda, and 6, the best placed of the Suzukis, Chivers and Cox, 1 lap down. There's the best placed of the Suzukis. As you can see, 1 lap down, it's in 4th place.
Moved up to 4th place, Gardner and Clark, and at number 6 has moved up into 5th position. That's Neil Chivers and Rod Cox. They've moved up into 5th place and going back to 6th position. There's number 14, Don Phillips and Mick Cole.
Join
Chivers Cox changing over, went in 6th place. They called into the pits at 1 lap down, had been overtaken just before the stop by Phyllis Cole on another Suzuki. So Honda's running 1st to 3rd, and Suzuki's 4th and 5th. 5th place they were in until the pit stop. Bike 10, the immediate threat to them, the Glenn Taylor, Dave Robbins Honda number 10, followed by the Hiscock Rod Gray Suzuki number 1. And as 6 goes out again, has fallen behind number 10, so is in 6th place. 172 laps completed by the race leader, number 5, John Pace, Honda 1100. Coming up within about 15 minutes, perhaps 10, to his 2nd pit stop. And now Ron Bolden gunning 22 round hard, running 2nd place in the 750cc class, and 11th outright Bolden, 9th outright, and leading that class is number 30, the Suzuki of Toomey and Holden, 2 New Zealanders who've led it all day. But this Ron Bolden, Grand Prix rider essentially, and doesn't really like production bikes very much, to share the bike originally with fellow Grand Prix bike rider Gary Coleman. But the problem was that when Len Willing was sacked from the Toshiba Yamaha dealer team, it left Richard Scott, a New Zealander and a very talented rider, without a ride. He was in fact quicker than both Bolden and Coleman on the bike by about 1.5 seconds. And so one of the riders had to stand down, and Ron, being the better known and sort of lead rider in the team, he was the man that got the ride, and Gary Coleman's pit crew today.
And with the half distance of the Castrol 6-hour coming up, 184 laps completed, which goes towards making a race record at Amaroo Park, this is the official leaderboard. In 1st position, Bike 5, John Pace and Peter Byers on a Honda 1100, yet to have their 2nd stop. In 2nd position, Bike 7, Alan Blanco and Jeff French on their Honda 1100. They've changed a tyre early in the event, and they're flying on Bike 3, in 3rd place. Bike 3, Andrew Johnson and Greg Pretty on their Honda 1100. Then comes the 1st Suzuki, Bike 14, Rob Phillis and Michael Cole, ahead of Wayne Gardner, now up onto the same lap and flying after his 2nd stop, because remember he stopped earlier the first time on his Honda 1100. And then in 6th position, Bike 1, last year's winners, Neville Hiscock and Rod Gray on their Suzuki 1100.
Pits, bike number 6, Chivers and Cox. They're lying 9th place, 1 lap down. They're the 4th of 4 bikes that are 1 lap down. The bikes behind them are 2 laps down, and look at that alternator cover. My goodness. Well, that's the vulnerable part of a Suzuki, and you can see how vulnerable. It's destroyed.
More consistent with being down the road than actually scraping it, isn't it?
Indeed it is, because it's rubbed over a very wide surface and on the upper part. Indeed.